on
Fort
one
Worth.
second. We're getting ready to start.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate with Rob Stern of Lenders Residential Mortgage and Mortgage Solutions. I'm Robert Ashley with you right here on 1040 KGGR. Now, also, you can go to Facebook. We're broadcasting live here on Facebook. Once again, my good friend Rob Stern of Lenders Residential Mortgage is with us. And what we do right now here on 1040 KGGR, our phone lines are indeed open. We talk about real estate, the American dream of home ownership. And there are many of you who are living in apartments. You're dealing with your homes as a result of all of the ice storm that we had this past week or so. But Rob is with us. And Rob, we've missed Rob for the last couple of weeks. And first of all, Rob, we want to welcome you back to 1040 KGGR. How are you, man? What's going on? How are you, Rob?
Robert, I'm doing so good, and I am so incredibly blessed to be healthy again. You know, we had a rough 3-week go of it there, but I'm back and we're on the air and stronger than ever. And I'm just looking forward to putting some people into houses and helping them learn a little bit more about the real estate transaction, about a mortgage.
Beautiful, beautiful. Rob, well, once again, we want to thank you for just being back with us, because we have developed a relationship over the past 20 years, Rob, formerly on Heaven 97, and now everybody's over here on 1040 KGDR. Now, Rob, just give a little historical background as to what we've done over the last 20 years or so.
Yeah, absolutely, Robert. You know, over the past 20 years, we quite literally have put hundreds, if not thousands, of families into homes and help them refinance their houses. A little bit about the Lenders Residential Mortgage team and who we are. That might kind of help sort of set the tone for everything. As a direct mortgage lender, I work specifically with the Veterans Administration, with FHA and the Department of HUD, with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA as a direct lender. What that means is that I am not a broker. When you do business with us, when we are allowed to help you through the mortgage loan process, quite literally what we are doing is going directly to the actual lender, the one who lends the money. And the reason that's very important is because I work without the overlays that a lot of your big banks work with. A lot of these brokers work with that may tell you things like on a VA loan, you have a minimum credit score. Well, the reality is there are no minimum credit scores on VA loans. And that's the interesting thing. So many lenders, so many banks out there, so many brokers put these artificial overlays in place because they have the capacity to do that. They're doing this to try and protect their portfolio. And quite truly, it's because they just don't know how to close these types of loans. As a direct lender, Mortgage Solutions has no minimum credit score on VA loans. As a direct lender, we can go up to a 65% debt to income ratio on our VA loans, which is actually 30% higher than most lenders will allow. As a direct lender, I can do an FHA loan all the way down to a 500 credit score, which is tremendous when you think that most lenders stop at a 620 credit score. As a direct lender, I can do, and I will do, my USDA loans down to a 580 credit score when most lenders start at a 620. So we have a lot of capacity that's not readily available there in the marketplace. And it's not because we are doing something that other people cannot do. It's that we're doing something that other people do not want to do. And there's a big difference there, Robert. Mortgage Solutions and the Lenders Residential Mortgage team, we've been in this industry now for 25 plus years. We are a family-owned business. This year we'll do close to $3.5 billion of originating mortgage loans all across the United States. We service a good portion of the mortgage loans that we actually close. I do a lot of refinance business too, Robert. Refinance cash out, refinance people wanting to just lower their interest rate, lower their overall monthly payment, perhaps move from a 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage, or in some cases even a 10-year mortgage. You know, the biggest thing that we want to get across, and what we always put across to our listeners at KHVN for all those years, is that you have to begin the process somewhere. Don't let the fact that you've been perhaps turned down by others discourage you. Don't let the fact that maybe you have some bumps and bruises on your credit discourage you. You can still be a homeowner. You can still refinance your home. There's still a lot of options available to you. Oftentimes, it's just a matter of communicating or establishing the right relationship with the right lender in order to move forward. And that's who we are.
Right, well, that's great. But once again, for those KGGR, or with you with us live on Facebook. Now, our phone lines are open. You can actually call us if you have a question for Rob. You've been thinking about buying yourself a home. You are just recently married. Now, also, if you're living in an apartment, everything has been really tough because of the storm. You say, I'm getting out of this apartment. I want to buy me a home. Rob Stern is the man you need to talk to. We're going to give Rob's number out in just a minute. But if you have a question, you can call us right now here on 1040 KGGR. Our number to call is 972-988-1040. Once again, our phone lines are open, specifically talking about real estate today, the American dream of home ownership, and also for those of you who need to get your credit straight. Rob can help you get that credit score together where you would qualify to buy yourself a home. But once again, if you have a question or a comment right now, 972-988-1040. Well, Rob, let's give out your phone number as well.
Thank you, Robert. My telephone number is 972-739-2350. Again, that's 972-739-2350. And I can also be reached directly on the internet. Just go to thelenderstexas.com. That's lenderstexas.com, lenderstexas.com. You can also find me on Facebook as the Lenders Residential Mortgage Team. I think the main thing is you just need to reach out to us. Again, my telephone number, 972-739-2350. That's 972-739-2350. Or find me on the internet at lenderstexas.com. And certainly we want to help anybody any way we can, Robert.
Rob, what's going on with the interest rates? Because when you get ready to buy a home, those interest rates are very, very important. But what's going on with the interest rates right now?
You know, interest rates are actually starting to spike up, and we were talking off the air just for a few moments before the show started about what's going on. Interest rates are beginning to rise, and there's a couple of reasons for that. We've actually had some very significant volatility in the stock market, the bond market, with prices going higher. Interest rates are beginning to go up, and as interest rates start to go up, obviously the cost of acquisition increases. When it comes to buying a home, it's going to cost more money, and that's really the situation that we're in right now. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not the time to go ahead and get started, and we want to reach out to certainly to all of our listeners and offer them an opportunity. Now is definitely the right time to go ahead and give us a call. Let's pull credit. Let's go ahead and begin a file and figure out exactly what you need to do, whether your lease is up in 3 months or in 12 months. Now is the right time to go ahead and take advantage of this opportunity. Rates were incredibly low for an incredibly long period of time, and they're still very low, but they're starting to tick up, Robert. And I think we need to acknowledge that as consumers and certainly take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of us. As far as refinancing, now is the time to get on the stick and make things happen. Don't put it off. Don't delay. It's only going to cost you more money if you continue to delay the process.
Okay, and if you have a question, once again, lines are open right here on 1040 KGPR, 972-988-1040. Now, Rob, typically, what does your credit score need to be in order to qualify for a home, and how much money typically do you need to bring to the table to be able to get into a house?
Sure, Robert. You know, a mortgage loan right now is going to require typically at least 3%. Both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have a great 3% down program, which means if you're spending $150,000, 3% is $4,500. That would be your requisite down payment. Now, that's going to be for individuals who fall into a very specific credit and income criteria. But it's a product that we use quite a bit. FHA is a 3.5% mortgage down payment. So again, you're looking at only 3.5% down on an FHA loan. But what I really want to call everybody's attention to, and what we've really talked a lot about, Robert, over the years, is the VA loan, the veterans. You know, veterans have no down payment. There's zero money for a down payment on your veterans loan. So with that being the case, the VA loan is always going to be your best mortgage loan. And I know just from experience that we have several veterans that are listening. several wives of veterans or husbands of veterans, perhaps widows of veterans. Take advantage of these VA benefits. When you are a veteran, you are entitled to the best mortgage loan available. No down payment whatsoever, no monthly mortgage insurance whatsoever. And in many cases, no funding fee either, depending on your level of disability, if you're a disabled vet. So with all that being said, I mean, I see veterans buying a $300,000 house right now for $1,600 a month in payments, Robert. If you're a veteran, you're really doing yourself and your family a disservice not to get the process started. Remember, as a direct lender, we have no minimum credit score for VA loans. No minimum credit score. That means if you've got a 490 credit score, but you meet the criteria, I can still qualify you. And that criteria is pretty simple and straight up. It is going to be a clean 12-month payment history with reestablished credit. That's it. So again, I want to reach out to all of our veterans, and I know we do this and have done this every week. Of course, we missed a couple of weeks because I was out ill, but you know, the reality is, as a veteran, you have a tremendous opportunity to become a homeowner, and I think that's very important to not only acknowledge, but to act on. You have sacrificed for the country. You've given of yourself for us average citizens. As such, you deserve this benefit and you need to take advantage of it. So again, please give me a call. Specifically, if you're a veteran, give me a call. That number is 972-739-2350, 972-739-2350, or find me at Lenders Texas. That is LendersTexas.com.
Now, Rob, once again, right here on 1040 KGTR, 972-988-1040. Once again, talking with Rob Stern of Lenders Residential Mortgage, and we're talking real estate here today. We want you to have a home, want your children to have a home and be able to pass that generational wealth on down. Now, Rob, also in light of what's going on in our economy, just in the world here, what's happening to property values here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Are we gaining? Are we losing? What's going on with our values?
That's a really good question, Robert. And I think in some areas we're gaining. In other areas we are perhaps stagnating. Now, I can tell you that the most recent research from the Metro Texas Association of Realtors indicates that several areas of Dallas and Fort Worth experienced a gain year over year, well over 12%, in some cases even 16% in property values. That's pretty significant. Other areas were not quite as strong, but everything has gone up. It doesn't matter where you're looking. Ellis County, Dallas County, Tarrant County, Denton County. Everything is more expensive now than it was 12 months ago. With that being said, the biggest problem I have is seeing what transpired with the snow and the ice last week. And while it affected me personally, and I know it affected a lot of people personally, the biggest problem is that it interrupted the supply chain, and I know you're familiar with that term. So for people that are building homes, we're seeing home builders literally push out closings now 2 months because of that 1 week of interruption. People whose homes were supposed to close in March that are now closing in May. And that's if things are lucky. When I say supply chain, I'm talking about a delivery of things like lumber or air conditioning units, or perhaps the shelving that goes up, or the cabinet work, or the flooring, or the tile work, or the bricks. So yeah, that's a much bigger problem. And I'm afraid what's going to happen is that we're going to see home builders jack those prices up even higher because of this. Now again, that doesn't mean you got to go out and buy a brand new home with a home builder and pay these higher prices. But the reality is that's a concern to me, and I think that in and of itself should help us keep these interest rates low. Although I do believe we're going to see some escalation because of it.
Yes. And once again, Rob Stern is with us of Lenders Residential Mortgage and Mortgage Solutions. Our number to call here at 1040 KGTR, 972-988-1040. And Rob, what's your number, contact information again?
Thank you, Robert. My direct dial phone number is going to be 972-739-2350. That is 972-739-2350. You can also reach me on the internet. Just go to Lenders Texas. That is LendersTexas.com.
And Rob, what about refinancing? The interest rates are still relatively low. Should we now go ahead and get that refinancing done before these interest rates really began to? Because it seems like the price of gas is going up. Are things going up now in terms of the interest rates as well?
Oh boy, is the price of gas going up. As you probably know, we have seen gasoline. At least I've seen gasoline for my car go up 50 cents a gallon since the election.
My goodness.
And and that's pretty sad, but it's what we did. 50 cents a gallon means in general, if you have a 20-gallon tank, you're paying $10 more to fill your car up. Yes, things are going up. There's no doubt about it. It's becoming more expensive to live. And as such, this is the right time to go ahead and take advantage of these low interest rates while you can. Buy your house, refinance your home. Robert, more than ever, I'm seeing people come forward and taking equity out of their house. People that are choosing not to buy a new home, but instead they want to redo their current home, perhaps put in new floors or new appliances, buy a new refrigerator for the kitchen or whatever. People are taking equity out of their home and paying off those high interest credit card bills, taking advantage of the opportunity that they've been given. Quite literally, we've all suffered. It's over 12 months that we've been dealing with COVID now. And unfortunately, and I just got my notification this morning, Robert, that I can go get my first shot, except I can't get my first shot because I've already had COVID. And apparently the CDC says you got to wait 90 days before you can get your first shot. So we're on the road to good health. Everybody's going to be fine. I do want to, I do want to actually give a shout out to all of our listeners while we're at it, though, and say, wear your masks. That is so critical. Wear your masks whenever you're around somebody else. There you go, Robert. You got it. Wear those masks and be very careful and cognizant of what you're doing and what you're touching. Interestingly enough, and I'm off topic now, and I know that, but interestingly enough, when I was in the hospital, the doctor told me that one of the biggest ways to transmit the COVID is the gasoline pumps, and that people are putting the credit cards in and out when they don't realize that someone may have been infected prior, and so that credit card holder carries the virus, or perhaps the gasoline pump that they're using to put the gas in their car is carrying the virus. So again, just a little tidbit from your friend Rob Stern. When you go get gas, get a paper napkin to touch the gasoline pump, and use that paper napkin if you have to put your credit card in.
Rob, we thank you for that. That's good advice. Do you have any idea how you may have got exposed to COVID, or
where it came from? Robert, I have no clue. My wife actually contracted COVID as well. My son and his new wife contracted COVID as well, but my other son didn't contract it. Nobody else in my office has gotten it. Nobody else that we've associated with has come down with it. So I'm not really sure. It could be from any of several random areas, and I think that's what's really scary. The shot is here, although they've now said that the shot only has a 65% efficacy rate, which means you only have a 2 out of 3 chance to not get it if you're exposed to it. And I got to tell you, for whatever it's worth, it wasn't a lot of fun. I had COVID for 9 days, and at the tail end, I was diagnosed with double pneumonia and admitted to the hospital, where I was for 6 days. So it's serious, and you have to take this seriously.
Well, Rob, by his stripes may you be healed, and we're just honored to have you back on radio here with us today, because we've been with you throughout that whole ordeal. And I can remember that first week that I talked to you, man. You really kind of scared us because you didn't sound like you sounded now, but you sounded
Yeah, Robert, and I appreciate that. I was scared, and more important, most importantly, my wife, I think, was really upset and really terrified because none of us knew what was coming. And again, God has blessed me, and I intend to do this for the next 20 years with you, Robert.
all right.
And we got a lot of people to talk to still.
Well, let's give out some contact information before we run out of time. Now, people also are getting those income tax checks back, Rob, and can they use that to maybe put down on a home? And how can people reach you, Rob?
Absolutely, Rob. Robert, I totally recommend using your income tax checks or your stimulus checks, what have you, to become a homeowner. There's a lot of great programs out there. My telephone number is going to be 972-739-2350. That is 972-739-2350. You can also reach me via the internet. Just go to Lenders Texas. That's spelled out LendersTexas.com. Find me on Facebook as the Lenders Residential Mortgage Team.
All right. Now, Rob, also real quickly, those who are still renting and not buying, what kind of advice can you give them?
Don't rent. Well, I've never understood why anybody would rent, even if they are somewhat transient in their living situation. The reality is you're always going to be better off owning your home than renting your home. Home ownership offers so many benefits and so many positive nuances. You have significant tax deductions, not only for your property taxes, but also for your mortgage insurance and for all the interest you pay on your mortgage loan. As a homeowner, you literally can do what you choose with your home. You don't have to concern yourself with what your landlord says you may or may not do. If you want to paint your kitchen red, you can paint your kitchen red. Nobody's going to tell you anything about it. It doesn't make sense to rent, and so much of what we do in this industry, and I've done this now for 30 years, literally. So much of what I do is help first-time homeowners, people come out of these apartments, come out of these rent homes, and realize the benefits of home ownership. It's not about credit. It's not always about income, but you got to start the process. And I know for years we've been saying this, Robert, if you don't start, you can never finish. You got to begin.
And Rob, is this a buyer's or a seller's market? What kind of market are we in right now?
Right now, we're very much in a seller's market. I think that with rising interest rates, we may end up seeing the market begin to shift a little bit. But right now, we're very much in a seller's market because we don't have enough houses. Houses are in short supply, which is what's driving our property values higher, Robert. Homes are not as plentiful as they were, certainly back in 2010, 2008. And because of that, the prices are going up. It's all about cost of acquisition. It costs more to become a homeowner now as far as what you're buying. But with these low interest rates, it's less expensive to own a home because your payments are lower.
Wow. Well, Rob, I'll tell you what, we have just a couple more minutes to go, but let's give out some contact information for people who would like to get in touch with you. I want to continue to thank you for working with our veterans, and we're just glad to have you back, Rob.
Robert, every day is a blessing, and I'm so honored to be part of KGGR and again part of your world. You've been a good friend for a long time. My contact information is 972-739-2350. That is 972-739-2350. I can also be reached by the internet. Go to Lenders Texas, LendersTexas.com, or find me on Facebook as the Lenders Residential Mortgage Team.
Right. And Rob, just know about something too, for a lot of people who are having to pay their taxes this time of the year and then refinancing. Do you still suggest people roll in those taxes during refinancing?
Oh, absolutely. And there are still people who owe their 2020 income taxes or property taxes, excuse me. And so we are absolutely seeing people pay those taxes current with the refinance. A lot of years ago, probably 15 years ago, I think that the general wisdom was that you should not escrow if you don't have to escrow, because you can make more money by paying your taxes and insurance separately. And that assumes you're taking that same amount of money and pushing it into and pushing it into some sort of a savings account or stock account or what have you. That has proven to be false because a lot of people didn't have the determination or the discipline to put that money away every month. And then at the end of the year, when it came time, they weren't able to meet their tax and their insurance commitments. As a direct lender and as a mortgage company in specific, we encourage everybody to escrow those taxes and insurance for that very reason, Robert. It's not a profit center for us. We don't make money off of it. It's a courtesy, but we would much rather do that and then pay the taxes and the insurance when due, as opposed to having someone fall behind and then put themselves into an uncomfortable environment where they are forced to refinance just to go ahead and bring themselves whole.
All right. Well, last quick question for you. I think we got maybe less than about a minute or so here. But credit is one of the biggest hurdles that people just can't cross in order to qualify for the homes. But you have specialized in helping people get their credit straight. Should that be something people should be embarrassed about? Because you've got to start somewhere to get that credit straight.
Yeah, Robert, no, having difficulties with your credit, unfortunately, is just a reality of life as an American here lately. And I think that in specific, yes, I do a lot of credit repair. I work with a lot of our borrowers to get their credit where it needs to be. Again, I don't have the same credit requirements that a lot of people have, so you may be able to go ahead and qualify right out of the gate regardless. But again, if you don't start, you can never finish. You got to begin the process and give us a call. That's exactly where we are in the relationship, and we want all of our listeners to reach out so we can talk in a little bit more detail about what's going on.
All right, well, everybody, we've been talking real estate here today on 1040 KGGR. I'm talking with our good friend Rob Stern of Lenders Residential Mortgage. Now, Rob's number is 972-739-2350. That's 972-739-2350. I want to thank all of you for being with us today right here on 1040 KGGR. Rob, we thank God for you. Get well, and we'll look forward to talking to you next Friday. Rob, and God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Robert. Take care, and you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
I went to check on